Dibrig tú go díon nó chánig tú go dí an chathair seo, fuair his neart taithí agus d'urbar de chud scileanna. I ngacháte éigean tú, fecinn tú rud éige na chabhraigh tú a thógáil, ach inis tá tú ag féchant ar an todhchaí, agus beidir go bhfuil tú ag smaoinemh ar an áit as a dagan tú. In éireann, tastaíonn pleanálathe, siúnéirí, ploméirí, díanadóirí, inaltóirí, altíirí, banistóirí láithreáin agus níos móhain. Tastaíonn túhain, le do chud scileanna agus taithí go léir, chun cabhrúlinn na mílte tithe a thógáil. Tá an domhan tóga agat, a níos tar arás agus tógan teach a thóg tú. Tuile eolais ag gov.ie/Building Ireland. Teachtareacht ó rialtas na hÉireann.
Hi, this is Knox from the Popcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the Popcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about. Because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Scary. If you're new here, my name is Will, and each week I narrate your real-life paranormal experiences as well as some famous paranormal cases along the way. And if you have your own paranormal experience that you'd like me to narrate on the show, you can send it to scaryaparanormalpodcast at gmail.com and it just might get made into a future episode. Before we get into this week's episode, I need to say a special thank you to our new Patreon subscribers who are Charlotte Harrison, Helen Jemson, Mel, Karen Dicker, Jack Hughes, Hazel, Jane Kay, Angie Powding, Andrew Flynn, Anthony Taylor, Tiffany Eklund, Christina Franklin, Becky Clark, Brendan Norfleet, Evie Southgate, Lucy Sparrow, Vicky, Holly Wilson, James Harris, Sweet Beamer, and Orla 1511. There was quite a lot this week, and thank you so much for supporting the show and joining the Patreon. It really does mean the world to me. It is just me that does this show. There's nobody else, and your support just means that I can keep doing what I love doing, which is retelling your stories and covering these famous paranormal cases as well. And if this is something you're interested in, you can find the link in this episode's show notes, or you can go to patreon.com/scaryaparanormalpodcast, where you can gain access to ad-free main episodes, and you can also gain access to exclusive scary episodes as well. But now, let's get into our next paranormal encounter. This happened about 10 years ago now. We live very rural. The nearest town is about 40 minutes drive away, and the nearest city is over an hour and a half drive. The road outside our house is one of those long country roads that really just gets used by locals or, delivery drivers. You get the odd person who is lost, but other than that, in the evening time, once it hits 9 p.m, 10 p.m, it's dead. So this night, it was just after 2 in the morning, and I woke up to what sounded like somebody knocking on the door. A pretty gentle tap. I'm a very light sleeper. My wife is the complete opposite. And I just remember waking up pretty much immediately and hearing this gentle knocking or tapping on the door. It was a pretty rough night. It was lashing rain outside and it was pretty windy. So my first thought was, this is a branch or part of a tree that has fallen down near the front door and is just, knocking against it with the wind. So I listened for a little bit, and then here it came again, this time a little bit louder and together. 3 knocks. So eventually I got up, went to the door. We have a frosted window on our door, and I could just make out that there was actually somebody standing outside on the porch. So I just quickly went to the door, opened it, and there was a woman standing there, absolutely soaked. Dark hair, maybe in her 30s, I guess. I opened the door just a crack and I said, "Are you okay?" And straight away I could tell that she wasn't Irish. Her accent was Eastern European, maybe Polish, Lithuanian. I couldn't really tell, to be honest. She started speaking really fast in her own language and then pointing to the road, waving her hands. I only really caught one word, which was car. So I stepped out into the porch and looked in the direction where she was pointing, and then she said petrol, no petrol, and then made a driving motion with her hands and sort of shrugged like, "What can you do? Help me." She had no coat, soaked to her skin, and honestly she looked pretty terrified, panicked. So I tell her to come inside the porch, and she's shaking her head and saying, no, please help, petrol. It's 2:30 in the morning at this point. My wife is asleep, our child is asleep, and I'm standing in her hallway in a t-shirt and tracksuit bottoms trying to talk to this poor woman who can't properly explain what's going on. Part of me is thinking, what are the odds of this happening here? Nobody just knocks at your door at this hour, especially not a stranger. So is this a trick? So I told her to wait, and I went back to the bedroom to grab some clothes. My wife is sitting up, light on, asking me what's going on. So I tell her there's a woman outside. Her car seems to be out of petrol. She's drenched and I think she needs to get to the city. And she just frowned at me and said, "At this hour?" And she's asking, can somebody collect her? Is her car actually out of petrol? So I'm like, listen, I'm going to go and see what the story is. I'll come back to you in a few minutes. So I throw on a jacket, grab my keys, and went back downstairs. And the woman is still standing there, hands tucked under her arms. And I asked her where her car was, and she pointed down the road. You could just about see the glow of hazard warning lights flickering through the rain. So I tell her, okay, I'll go down and take a look. You can wait here. It's absolutely horrendous night. I step out and immediately the rain is soaking me. So I walk towards the car. When I got close enough, I saw a small hatchback pulled in on the verge, hazard warning lights flashing, and then I see movement inside the car. There was somebody in the back seat, what looked to be a man. So I stopped dead. The man didn't move, he wasn't looking out the back window, he just was sitting in the car. I could see his outline from the front lights which he had left on. So I'm already outside, I'm already pretty much there, and I'm trying not to think that this is some sort of trap. I keep walking towards the car, and I just nodded towards the man and said hello. And he just very faintly nodded back. And I said, "Oh, I think you're in a bit of trouble." And he was quite obviously not fluent in English. So the conversation kind of stopped there. I looked at the car, sure enough, they have no petrol. When I got back down to our house, the woman was on the phone to her friend and was speaking to her in whatever language, and then she just pressed the phone to my ear. Her friend had a bit of English, and it turned out that this lady was making her way to stay with her friend. She clearly got lost and then ran out of petrol. So I'm asking the friend, can they come and collect her? She can keep the car at our house and maybe collect it tomorrow. And it turns out that the friend doesn't drive and that there's nobody able to collect this woman. What makes this worse is that they're in the nearest city, which is a good hour and a half away. There's no 24-hour petrol stations near us. The closest one would be in this city. So we're just going to have to bring this woman there. I didn't really feel comfortable with them staying in our house with our child. So it's kind of quickly decided that I'm dropping this woman to her friend's house. So I go back inside. My wife is standing in the hallway and I'm telling her what's going to happen. I told her it's just going to be to the city and back. Of course, she's a bit uneasy and is telling me, ring me whenever you've dropped them off. I'm like, yep, no problem. So we go back up to the car and we need to get it off the road. The best solution is to push it into the entrance of a field. And luckily it's pretty much at that entrance where she had run out of petrol. So we get up to the car, she hopped in, took off the handbrake, and we just steered the car into the entrance of the field. So I tried to tell the lady that I need to get my glasses for driving, and she eventually gets what I'm saying and she's like, okay, yes. She's gathering up stuff in the car and I told her, get into my car and I'll come out in a minute. So she's nodding. So I grab my glasses, come down the stairs, go over to the car. The two of them are sitting in the car. She's in the front, he's in the back. I start driving and it is absolutely pelting down. Like the type of rain that it sounds like gravel on the window screen. It was that kind of night. I'm trying to make small talk, but it's pretty much useless. She only knows a few words of English. And she just keeps saying city and pointing down the road, friend city. And I'm nodding, saying, yeah, I know that we're going to the city to drop you off at your friend's house. The guy in the back, not one word. At this point, every alarm bell in my head is going off. It's late. I've got a stranger in the front seat and another sitting directly behind me. And this guy seems to be a pretty big guy. I remember thinking, Christ, what am I doing here? And then a part of me that doesn't really want to believe in the worst kicked in and said, well, I said I was going to help. I can't really back out now. So here we are. Every now and then I'd glance in the rear view mirror and the man is just staring out the window. Rain running down the glass beside him. He's wearing dark clothes, black or navy. He has no coat, no movement, no real sound. I can hear him breathing. I did say to the woman, he's very quiet. And she's just kind of looked at me, yes. So to fill the silence, I turned the radio on low. There was some late night show on and it kind of filled this really awkward atmosphere in the car. It was kind of comforting in a way. The drive itself was pretty tense. She kept on twisting in her seat and trying to look behind. It was nearly like she was looking behind to check and see if a car was following, but I kept on reading it as she was waiting for him to prompt her to do something. That's how it felt. So for 90% of the journey, I was waiting to get attacked. That's how I felt. At one point along the journey, I got a smell of tobacco, and nobody is going to smoke in my car. So I just kind of directly said to him through the mirror, no smoking, no smoking. And she just kind of looked at me and was like, okay, no. And then the smell did go away. So I don't know whether he threw it out the window or what happened, but it left the car. So I was kind of happy, but also a bit annoyed that this guy was being really cheeky. Like, here I am helping them in the dead of night, and he's not even asking, just deciding to smoke in my car. We eventually start getting to the edge of the city, and she's not turning around as much. And it turns out that she clearly was trying to get her bearings, or trying to see where she had gone wrong on her route that ended up with her driving around the countryside and running out of petrol. So we start getting pretty much in the city at this point, and she starts shouting out, here, here, and starts pointing down this small residential street. I ended up pulling over outside this row of terraced houses, most of them dark, one or two with hallway lights still on, and she just said, friend here, and kind of motioned for me to wait. Before we know it, her friend is down and is greeting her, and eventually comes over to me to say thanks. And as we're talking, I see the guy who has been in the car just walk on by, didn't say a word, walked into the house and disappeared. It's still raining really bad, and I just tell them to go inside. It's okay, yeah, no problem. And quickly we tell our plan for tomorrow, that I will come and collect them, we'll get a can for the petrol, fill up the car, and then she can drive back. And they're like, thank you. And they go back inside. So I begin my journey back home again. And along the way I call my wife and let her know that everything is fine and that I'll be back pretty soon, and she sounds relieved. By the time I get back home, it's pretty late at this point. And I just retell the whole story to my wife. And then she's saying to me, so you have to go back and collect this woman, and then she has to come back and get her car. And I'm like, yeah. She was like, no, this is stupid. Do you have her keys? I was like, yeah, I do. So she's like, I'll go in our car, you can drive her car, we'll bring it to the city, and we'll drive back. So the next day comes, I bring an empty can to the petrol station, fill up her car, and we do what my wife suggested and both go to the city in 2 different cars. So we pull up outside the same house, knock on the door. Eventually the friend comes to the door and is like, oh, hi, yeah, we'll be ready 1 minute. And I just quickly explain, no, my wife is here, the car is actually here, you don't need to come back, everything's okay. So they're thrilled. And the woman's friend, who has okay English, is talking to my wife and saying, oh, she was so scared, she was alone, she didn't know what was going to happen, she didn't know where she was. And I'm in my head thinking, she wasn't alone. So everybody's just kind of talking as normal, and then they ask us to, oh, come in, have some tea. So we go inside, and her friend just keeps on saying how this woman was really afraid and alone. Eventually I just said, oh no, your boyfriend or husband, or he was there too, he was in the back. And the woman who had called to our house door is confused. I can clearly see that she doesn't know what I'm trying to say. And her friend is like, boyfriend? I said, yeah. The man who was with us last night, the guy who's sitting in the back of the car, he went into your house. And she's like, what man? And I said, the man that was with her, that I dropped off, he went inside your house. And she just stared at me like I'd grown another head. And she just said she was alone last night. There was no man. She was very scared. She came to your house alone. I kind of just laughed awkwardly, thinking that this was some sort of mix-up in translation. But she just kept on saying, no man, only her. She was alone. I really didn't know what to say. Then my wife interrupts me and says, you know what, I didn't see a guy in the back of the car either. And up until that point, I kind of thought that they were hiding a person and pretending that somebody hadn't been in the car who clearly had. Like they didn't want to acknowledge this other person, that they were trying to hide something. Or when my wife said that, I just turned to her in that house and said, you did, the guy in the back of the car, the guy I told you about last night. And she just said, you know what, I listened to what you said last night when you came back about that guy, but if I'm honest, I watched you drive away in our car with that woman sitting in the front. There was nobody in the back of the car. We left not long after that, and the whole journey home, I just kept telling my wife how there was a guy in the back of the car. I was describing what he looked like, how he didn't really speak and just kind of looked out the window the whole journey home, and how I was on edge for most of the journey because the woman kept looking behind and I thought they were both going to jump me. And then I started thinking about the whole thing. The guy let the woman come to the house on her own. He didn't go to the house to ask for help. When we moved the car off the road, he sat in the back of the car. It did only take a couple of seconds, but he still didn't even get out. Another thing was, I never saw him get into my car. And the last thing was, I don't actually remember hearing him open the door when we got to her friend's house. I just remember seeing him walking into the house, but I was distracted by her friend and was chatting to them. I honestly don't know what to think. Maybe this guy wasn't actually a physical person. Thank you to Declan for sending in his paranormal experience. And can I just say, I will not be escorting any ghosts to any nearby cities at 2:30 in the morning. That is not happening. I do not claim that energy. Thank you for listening to this week's episode, and don't forget, if you like what you hear, you can press that follow button so you don't miss any future episodes of Scary. You can find the links to everything you need in the episode show notes, and also the podcast is now available on YouTube, and the link for that is in the episode show notes as well. Thanks again for listening, and join me next time for another episode of Scary.
Dibrig tú go díon ó chánig tú go díon chathair seo. For his neart tahi agus derber de chud skillina. I ngachaite éigen tú, fecinn tú rud éigen a chawrig tú a hógáil. Ach anéis, tá tú ag fechint ar an tauchi, agus beidir go bhfuil tú ag smíanamh ar an áit as a dagan tú. In éireann, tastíonn planálathe, siúnéirí, ploméirí, díanadóirí, inaltóirí, altíirí, banistóirí láithreáin agus níos móhain. Tastíonn túhain, le do chud skillina agus tahi go léir, chun cawrúlinn na mílte tithe a hógáil. Tá an dahan tóga agat, a níos tar arás agus tógan teach a thóg tú. Tuile eolais ag gov.ie/Building Ireland. Teachtareacht ó rialtas na hÉireann.
If you're a smoker or vapor ready to make a change, you really only need one good reason. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you'll discover many good reasons. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch brand. Plus, Zyn offers a robust rewards program. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction, but there's only one Zyn. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Dibrig tú go díon nó chánig tú go dtí an chathair seo, fuair his neart taithí agus d'arbair de chud scileanna. I ngacháte éigean tú, fecinn tú rud éige na chabhraigh tú a thógáil, ach inis tá tú ag féchant ar an todhchaí, agus beidir go bhfuil tú ag smaoinemh ar an áit as a dagan tú. In éireann, tastaíonn pleanálathe, siúnéirí, ploméirí, díanadóirí, inaltóirí, altíirí, banistóirí láithreáin agus níos mó uainn. Tastaíonn tú uainn, le do chud scileanna agus taithí go léir, chun cabhrúlinn na mílte tithe a thógáil. Tá an domhan tóga agat, a níos tar arás agus tógan teach a thóg tú. Tuile eolais ag gov.ie/Building Ireland. Teachtareacht ó rialtas na hÉireann.
Hi, this is Knox from the Podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about, because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.